Good morning, traders. So how do we trade the Aussie today? So yeah, as expected yesterday, we did move the downside, although we didn't get the gap down. We got a gap up, which was quite interesting. And to start off for the daily here, though we did get a crossover here, we've moved to the downside, so pretty much trending down. The concern that I've got with this setup at the moment is we do have a moving average crossover, so we've got a golden cross here on the daily, and that's normally pretty bullish. But based on the strength of the previous downward move, this could be just a volatile consolidation. And unfortunately, at this stage, consolidation on the Aussie could be in 4,500 point consolidation. So anyway, it's a couple other things to bear in mind at the moment is from there to there, I have 61.8 heading to 76.2, but if I take the whole move, you'll see I'm at the 61.8 at the moment. Okay, so 61.8 Fibonacci retracement, oscillator starting to group to the downside here, and at the same time, some diversions brewing. So not quite there yet, but I anticipate, well, if you take it from this swing low here, it's already there. Okay, so in other words, a high, higher high, a low, well, it's a low, higher low, and this is a low, lower low. Now I take it from this swing low, you can see it's pretty much getting there as well. Okay, so that's the first thing to pay attention to. 61.8 is there, and let's just get rid of this. Okay, then we have a inside tail there, and we also have a inside tail there. So I've got one there and one there. Okay, and we've got this daily gap below as well, which also lines up with an inside tail over there. And then I have another inside tail sitting over there. So if I drill down to the 4 hour, you'll see a whole lot of noise. Okay, and this level here of 45,950 is the last line of defense. And if you look here, you can really see we've got sort of diversions brewing. We've got all the oscillators grouped to the downside. So we do have a signal. We've got a signal already. Oscillators are signaling that there is a turn about to happen. We haven't tagged the level yet. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a level, and then we'll look for a trigger, and the trigger is price action. Okay, so have a look at this. So from the hour, you can see we had a gap up, and I was expecting a gap down because of 10 cents. And 10 cents down another 2.5%. So I expect more downward motion, and I would anticipate a gap down. But the other thing that affected us early on, I think, was the Rand dollar. So Rand sitting at 14.44 at the moment. So that was definitely an event that helped it. But again, hindsight being perfect science, moving averages quite far apart, and we did not break above the 26. So as long as price stays below the 26, you're in a downward trend. So I think the reality was that this was the first bottom as such, and you were looking for a reason. You were actually looking for a reason to get short again, and that was yesterday. Okay, even though we did start off with a green bar, I think that was the first half hour of trading, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, and then there's a great example of a open range break. Okay, so there is my breakout. You can see on the half hour, oscillators grouped at the top, all they're giving you signals that this move is over. And if you just quickly switched across to the 1 hour, which is the one that you should be using for your trend, you would have seen the trend is still down, even though you've ended up with a gap up green candle, and you were looking for a short. Okay, so that short, you had a few levels, not that it tagged any of them, but you had a couple of opportunities to get in short there, and you would have had although you would have had a 400-point stop loss. Okay, so yeah, I think just go to the 12-minute. I'll give you a better idea. So you can see how we gapped up, and then you had this pin bar followed by this pin bar. So a half decent trade. Looking at the hour as your bigger picture would have been a break below these pin bars with a stop above here. So a 200-point stop loss for a 1,000-point gain. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at, and this just highlights why I don't really like using the lower time frames at the moment. It is so volatile that you can get stopped out and triggered and all sorts. So using the hour, at least you're staying with the trend, and only once the hour trend is broken do you actually switch. Okay, so that's kind of my view on this. Okay, so we did get a bit of a trigger here, but I think that was just profit taking. A little bit of profit taking there, but we're looking for another trigger. So we're looking for a level, and these are the levels here. So let's just get them up. So it's 45,950, 45,775, and 45,500. Those are the three levels to the downside, and at a push, 44,844. Okay, now if we do get down here to close this daily gap, that would definitely be an area where you'll find buyers. Okay, if you look to the left, you'll see there are a lot of buyers at that level. Okay, so a lot of people seeing value at that level. So I think that would be my last straw, final straw as such, as to get in long. Until then, trend is down. You should be going with the trend. And whatever happens this morning, what you may find is a similar scenario where we have a sort of a flat or a gentle gap down or a gentle gap up, and then a bit of a rally, and then a continuation in the downtrend to come and tag these levels. Okay. So the problem that you've got here is you've got no real area that's close by for your stop loss. The first area is above this fractal here, and that's already 1,400 points away. Okay, so you can look at the 12-minute, but the problem is even your 12-minute, so looking for somewhere around there, that's still a 400-point stop loss. Okay, so therein lies your problem, but I do believe this is probably going to continue today, and yeah, it's kind of looking like it's going to continue indefinitely, to be honest with you, but I do expect something to happen in this zone. Okay, all the gains of last year have pretty much almost been erased, which in itself is a worrying signal. Okay, and also you can see the 200 moving average on the weekly is also playing a big role. From a daily perspective, there's nothing really here apart from this crossover of the moving averages, but bear in mind what I said. We can cross over like we have been doing all year, just because of the volatility. Okay, one oscillator is starting to line up nicely, but the stochastic is just crossed over and pointing down. So this is telling you there's still a lot more to happen. And what else do we have here? Nothing really. So I think my advice for you today is watch that first half hour of trading. Okay, and there will be a trade on the breakout thereof, but just bear in mind that you've got all these levels. First one is 230 points from where we closed. Next one is 400 points. Next one is 660 points, and the next one is 1,300 points. I just bear in mind, put those levels in, watch them carefully. The minute you start seeing, even it's difficult to call it on the 12-minute. I'd say looking at the 30-minute, you start getting engulfing patterns and pin bars and things like that off a level, not hanging in the middle of nowhere, so they need to be off a level. then you know that the buyers are stepping in. And just look at this divergence here. And the last thing I want to point out is that falling wedge. Okay, so just bear in mind, guys, somewhere in this zone there is going to be a bit of the buyers are going to step in. Either it's going to be profit taking that's going to kick it off, or there's going to be some buyers stepping in here. And I think the big thing to bear in mind, I don't think we're going to get, no, there's no real big weekly level at the moment apart from this 200. When you look at the oscillator here, the stochastic is saying enough. And we've also had diversions here as well. So, yeah, I think the last thing I want to do here is do that. Okay, and then let's just get a weekly level in there. And another one there. Yeah, so 45,700 seems to be an area that we really need to watch closely. So we need to watch this area pretty closely to see what happens. Okay, so remember what I said, guys, level, but this daily gap does worry me. Okay, so this top level here is the last line of defense. So 45,920 is our last line of defense. We have made an attempt at it here, and we didn't quite get this. I'd expect that level at least to be tagged this morning, maybe a bit of a bounce off it, and then a continuation to move down to attack this gap. Okay, so pretty much a break below 49, 45, 930, 49, 5, what's it? Just round it off. 45, 925. So a nice close below that on the half hour or the hour is going to bring the next level into play. Okay, so that's my view on it today. And once we're down at this level, I'm actually putting an order in at this gap close. It would be a nice opportunity and you'd probably get away with you're going to have quite a big stop. So probably a small order at this level with a 1,000-point stop loss. That's a bit rich for me. So I'll be waiting to see what happens. Okay, I'd like to keep a stop loss somewhere around the 200 to 300 point mark. So I'll just wait to see what base forms and then put the stop below the base. So if we tag a level, so I expect us to tag a level and then just watch the half hour. We should have a little bounce and then a pullback, and then you can get in on that pullback with a stop below the bottom. Okay. Anyway, guys, that's my view on the Aussie today. Expecting more downside and probably a 50-50 chance of that gap closing. Just depends whether we break through this level of 45,925. Anyway, guys, hope it helps, and we'll catch you later. Enjoy your day. Cheers for now.